I get to do lots of cool things as a pastor, and I am thoroughly enjoying my new appointment at Castlemaine Church of Christ. And I want to say before I start, big thank you to Blair and Julie and to Ross and Maggie Borden, who were previous, for the incredible work they did for 20 years over that period of time, because they've set up a beautiful church. Beautiful church. But one of the fun things that I get to do is, particularly during this period, is I'm teaching some kids how to drive. Because I've got some kids in my church who don't have parental structures and they can't learn to drive and they don't get their hours up. So I thought I'd take them to drive. And I've got two kids particularly. One's a brother and the other's a sister, and they come together in the car. And the boy gets in the car. He's 19 years of age. He gets behind the wheel and he climbs in my little Hyundai i20. It's bright red. And he gets in there, and as soon as he gets in there, he sees the silver dashboard and he sees the gear stick, and you just see this glint in his eye. All right, and he licks his chops, and then the first thing he does is turns his baseball cap backwards, which is not a good sign. And as he's been driving, he's been getting better at this driving, but his sister, on the other hand, she's another handful altogether. She gets in the car, and the first thing she does, climbs in the car, and she just starts breathing hard, straight away. And then I get her to turn the key, and she literally lurches the car onto the street. And then it's all the way down the street. On her second driving lesson, I thought I'd give her some feedback, honest feedback. And I turned to her after she turned the car off, and she gave me this big smile because she'd achieved, we hadn't died. And I turned to her and I said to her, "We're friends, aren't we? I'm just going to give you a bit of feedback, can I?" I said, "You're not a very good driver." And the look on her face was priceless, really. I said, "But let me tell you, though, you're a better driver this week than you were last week. And next week, I think you'll be a better driver next week than you are this week. So well done." And the reason I said that to her is because, really, every time she climbed in the car, on her first drive, she beat herself up so badly because she couldn't drive a car. And I said, "Well, I wouldn't expect you to drive a car. You've never driven one before, and it's a lot to learn." Now, the reason I share that story is because I think that's about where I think the church is currently, where I'm at. I think we're at this lovely stage of a combination of people with their baseball caps on back to front, with a glint in their eye, and a pile of people going as we go down the road together. When I came to the church search criteria they mapped out was the key thing, and in fact somebody who sent me my copy had slashed a marker through this particular line: "We want someone to help us to engage with our community." And I came from Scripture Union after 15 years, and I'm thinking, well, I love doing that. This is my appointment. So I get to Castlemaine. It's an interesting place to go. If you've never been there, let me tell you, the best coffee shops in the country are in Castlemaine. It's about 20 of them. They're all within about 100 metres of each other. It's that kind of place. It is a melting pot. It's new age. It's as alternate as it gets. You get alternate cultures living under the same roof in that place. They're completely incredible place, full of tree huggers, tree changers, a lot of people who've dropped out of organised religion. And I was looking the other day, I noticed it's got a significantly higher median age than nearly any other community I've ever been involved in. Interesting thing alongside that is it's got this massive volunteer heart. Everybody in the community seems to be volunteering for something or other. They save gay whales up there and we don't even have any water. They love their community, they really do, but they don't get on with each other. I've never seen people scrap and fight in the community like I've seen people up here scrap and fight, because they're all so passionate about stuff. And half of them don't know what they're passionate about, but they're just passionate about being passionate. And then I look at the church that I came to, and it's a country community. I said before, it's a significantly older community by demographic. And we regularly lose our young adults to Melbourne as they head off to university. And so a whole generation grows up, and we've got that gap consistently between 20 and 30 years of age, which most people would say you need that group in order to get the church all firing up. And then on top of that, one of the things I've learned is that it's a pretty significantly introverted church community. There's a lot of quiet souls in our church, and they like life a little bit quiet. So how do you engage such a community like that? Well, we adopted a missional community approach. I bumped into this idea from Craig Ogden, who's the Anglican priest over in Plenty Valley, and he's been working on something that came out of St Thomas's, Sheffield, and as soon as he spoke to us at SU about what he was doing, I thought, I love that, really love that. And so I kind of started floating it around the church pretty soon after I got there about this idea. What missional communities are, in the classical sense, is they're groups of families who come together to study God's Word, to do life together, but they're focused around the question, what does it mean in practice for us to live our faith in our neighbourhood? And when I look at Castlemaine overall, the thing that I see is just a cluster of villages all around. Like there's little places called Muckleford. Who's heard of Muckleford? I heard of Muckleford and I thought, are they kidding me? Muckleford. People living out there. Harcourt, Kyneton, Taradale, Elphinston. Little villages all over. And the question on my mind that I started asking people, because a lot of our folks don't live in Castlemaine, they live in these surrounding villages, I'd ask the question, who cares about this village? What church is going to strategically invest in this village? What normally happens is, as the churches get a little bit smaller and weaker, so the people hang on grimly and the priest goes out once a month and he conducts a service and then ducks back to the home base. But there's not anything happening in those villages. Taradale, little village of 400 people. And so I found that there was a critical mass, just enough of church members who were drawn to the idea, some driven to the idea, some pushed to the idea, but they took the idea. And so we commenced 3 missional communities. They're groups of, so this is the feature of a missional community, they're groups of about 12 to 25, deliberately too big to become a Bible study. And the reason for that is because we don't want them to have primarily a pastoral flavour to them. We want them to have an apostle flavour. They've got to be cells that can multiply. And when they're so small, they become a little bit insular, but the larger groups hopefully give us a bit of a chance to weave people in. They're locality-based, which is a real difficult challenge, but we've based them in the village because we wanted to beat the idea of birds of a feather. We didn't want people coming together because we're all mates, because then it becomes hard to break in again. So we wanted to learn how to do life with people we wouldn't normally do life with. We made it hard, and we're mission-focused, purpose-driven, have to be clearly mission-focused. And the thing I love most is that it's whole families, little children involved, teenagers involved, mums and dads, unlike probably what I've seen in the past where dad goes to the Bible study, mum looks after the kids, and they're breaking the family up. This is a whole family thing. Now I want to share with you 3 stories quickly before I come to just conclude what I've learned out of this stuff. The Taradale group started off. I went to a couple who are lovely, John and Chris. Love them dearly, beautiful, the most servant-hearted people. And I wrote up just a story about what it would look like in Taradale maybe if the gospel came to Taradale and if the church kind of burst into life there. And I said to them, so what do you think when I say that? And Chris said, that sounds terrifying. Almost. Not quite, but, terrifying. And I thought, well, look, that's the big picture. Let's start the starting point here. Unbeknownst to me, Chris then, when she was down in Taradale at the general store, decided to take up a question that I raised. How many neighbours do you know in your neighbourhood? She said, not many. I said, well, we should get to know people. She leaned over the counter at the general store, plucked up the courage and said, would you like to come to our place for dinner one night? And the folks behind the counter said, we'd love to come to your place for dinner. And they had a riotously good night. And the next time I saw Chris and John, I didn't have this... They had their baseball caps on back to front. They had their glint in the eye. All of a sudden discovered, what? People actually would want to come and have dinner with us. So we started our group. We discovered this couple that they've bumped into actually are Anglicans, and they've moved into Taradale. That's fine with us. We'll take them all. They moved into Taradale, but they've struggled with living in Taradale because they've come from the city and this little village just doesn't relate to them. But they've got this heart to turn this dead-end kind of service station. Anybody driven through Taradale will know the service station there is like a nowhere. And they want to turn it into a place where people from the community can come and just have coffee and meet. They'll give free coffee just to come and meet. And we're sitting there And our group heard this and we thought, we want to help them with that. So our group went out recently and started beautifying their grounds, and we're hoping to maybe work with them to help them fulfil their mission, and they'll help us to fulfil the mission God's laid on us. The second story, Muckleford. They decided to run a party at the home, and they thought, 5, 10 people might come. Everybody came. 30 people rocked up to this house to have a party. What I loved about it, though, was when I was having the story relayed back to me, because every time I hear this, I go, yeah. But as they relayed the story back to me, they told a story about a woman who turned up and she had dark glasses on all night. And I'm thinking, in the night time, she's got dark glasses on inside. And I'm thinking, what does that normally say? Hiding. At some stage in the night, she took the dark glasses off, and folks said, never seen her without dark glasses on. And then she started talking about her life and how she's struggling with a tumour. One of our members also has a tumour. She says, I've had a tumour. In fact, I've still got it, but I've been cleared. Person asked, how did you get through that? Person replies, you just muddle through. And then as she's relaying it to me on the phone, she says, Dave, I think that wasn't what the woman wanted to hear. And so she learned even in that moment how little we understand about how to share good news with people. But we're underway. They've got their training wheels on. The Castlemaine group, on the strength of the group out in Muckleford, decided to run a party. Everybody came. Everybody they invited from the whole street came. Now, here's where we bumped into the awkward stage. That stage where you're going between and you've got the glint in the eye. How to find the open doors. That was the challenge, and it still is. Surprisingly, it didn't come easy for people. I mean, they love the Bible study, they love the eating bit, that's easy. But how do you do the community engagement? And we didn't seem to be comfortable with that, and I thought, maybe we're not very good at this. But then I looked back over 12 months, and I did a study, and we've done over 20 community in mission engagements that this was the definition we did together, and we did it for somebody else.
And when I mapped them all out, people saw this, they went, that's exciting. I had no idea what they'd accomplished so far. So now they're starting to really launch out into their community engagement. But here's the elephant in the room. Evangelism. It's one thing to get cracking in the community, but it's another thing to articulate our faith, especially when you've got an introverted church in a multi-subcultural community. That's the area that we're going to have to work on. Third thing we've learned is not everybody's going to embrace what we're trying to do here. But you see, the beauty thing is we know the challenges, we can name them. As soon as we name them, we get started thinking about how we're going to overcome them. And there's plenty of time to learn. So we're kind of in this process like the learner with 10 hours under our belt. You see them, they get excited, but they're nervous. You rock up with the car and they're excited. They climb in the car and then they start sweating. But gradually, I think we're going to see less people going,